Welcome, everybody. We are back here. It is episode 8 of the Dots podcast here on your YouTube page. We welcome you guys joining us here, Golf, here on the home sideline, aka Brendini 99 Brett's Brendnen Retzloff right here with the football as per usual, and I'll send it away to the away guy.
And on the away sideline is Matt Crowley, a.k.a. your boy, Matty Icy, with episode 8, as Brendan said, and we're going to get straight into it because we are on a time crunch, unfortunately. Yeah, I think this time we actually really needed that. This is going to be a shorter episode. But yeah. So, we're going to hop right in our newest segment, the greatest how many minutes it takes us to get through these games of Week 6.
And going back, week 7. We're entering week 7 now, Matt, not 6.
Yeah, we're recapping Week 6.
Oh, we're recapping week... No, we're... Wait, what?
Yeah, like, where we recap the last week games?
Well, yeah, we recap, but we're entering week 7.
Yeah, I'm saying we're recapping Week 6. Did I not say that?
Oh, you might have said that, but I'm also looking at our document that says the greatest how many minutes it takes, and it says week 6, and then week 7's blank.
Oh, yeah, because we're timing them.
Yeah, so technically would week 6 be week 5?
Oh, yeah, you're 100% right.
Oops. I'll fix it.
All right. In the meantime,
I think I'll let you take it away, sir.
Yeah, I think I'll start off in 3, 2, 1. So starting on Thursday Night Football, we had the Niners against the Seahawks in NFC West Showdown. Seahawks, they start 3-0, and I believe they dropped 3 in a row, so they are now 3-3 heading in. And next we go to London with back up, pause. Niners win that game 36-24. Then we go to London where Bears offense looks stellar. They beat the struggling Jacksonville Jaguars 35-16.
And going back across the pond to the States, it's the Buccaneers taking on the Saints. The Buccaneers had a long travel time going from Tampa to New Orleans due to the Hurricanes, but man, the Buccaneers put up some offense, and their defense also did some very nice work. A 51-27 win, shutting down Spencer Rattler in his first ever start. Up next, it's the Commanders playing against the Ravens, and this was showcased to be possibly one of the best matchups of the year, and it was a very great matchup. Jaden Daniels against Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got the best out of the Commanders. Defense was kind of lacking for Washington. They lose 30-23.
In our hometown state of Wisconsin, where the Arizona Cardinals traveled up to face the rigid, cold, wet conditions of Lambeau, where the Packers win 34-13. Our Marvin Harrison goes out for injury, and we'll see how that affects. Next, we go to the aging Joe Flacco as he takes on the web-slinging Will Levis down in Tennessee, where the Colts win 20-17. I think Spider-Man found his venom.
I just wasn't sure what you said there. We're going to keep going. Up next, it's the Texans going up against the Patriots. Everyone is picking the Texans to win this. America had like 96% of people had the Texans. And the Texans got a 20-point win over New England in Drake May's, I believe it was his second start
That was his first
year.
start.
In his first start, but he looked good. A 41-21 victory. Up next, fire the head coach chance out there in Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni ended up dealing with the crowd in a not very good way. Bad reputation for Nick Sirianni, but the Eagles, they did win. And they also did get A.J. Brown back, a huge piece to get for them, 2016.
Then we go to Mile High Stadium where the Chargers took on Bo Nix and the Broncos. I didn't really watch much of this game, but Chargers come up victorious in this one in the AFC West Showdown 23-16. Then we go over to Las Vegas where the Steelers rampage through Vegas, stealing all their money, and as they won 32-13.
Well, if we're being honest about how much of games we watched, I didn't watch any of this one, the Falcons and the Panthers, because who would? The Falcons ended up winning 38-20. Their offense is looking very sharp, and Bijan Robinson starting to pick himself up from that Outer Banks time that he was showing on the big screens. Up next, it is the Lions and the Cowboys in what everyone thought was going to be America's Game of the Week. But how about this? The Dallas Cowboys taking big fat L's after one another at Jerry World on Jerry's 82nd birthday. Really bad day. A 47-9 win, but prayers for Hutchinson.
Next, we go to the MetLife Stadium, the Meadowlands, where possibly the worst Sunday night football game I have seen in recent times. The Bengals win 17-7 against the Giants. It was a very hard game to watch. Then, staying at MetLife, where the Jets took on the Bills, where the Bills reigned victorious 23-20, but not without an old-fashioned Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary, and that's going to do it for us in 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
Not that much faster.
I thought we were almost close to 5 minutes. Oh, no, we weren't. 4:20. Nice.
Hey, speaking of that Hail Mary, though, how about Aaron Rodgers? This guy, he's known as the Hail Mary guy now. Like, he should have had that name a long time ago. Just thinking, people would always say Hail Rodgers, but they never called it that. It was just still the Hail Mary. But speaking of nicknames, Matt, this doesn't have to do with football. But last night, I might have heard one of the greatest sports nicknames of all time get brought up in baseball. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the ALDS.
I know
or the ALCS.
I think didn't Ohtani and then the Dodgers tied it up in the bottom of the 8th. And sends into the extra innings, and where the Guardians just absolutely just walked off the game in like the bottom of the 10th or something, or 11th.
You're close. It's actually the Yankees against the Guardians.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Dodgers are in the NLCS. That's right.
Yes, but one of the guys on Cleveland's team, I forgot what his first name was, but his last name was Noel, and he hit a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 9th inning to tie it up against the Yankees. And since his last name was Noel, the team, they call him Big Christmas.
That's a good one.
And Brian Anderson was on the call, so BA, he does stuff with the Brewers a lot. He's so good at his job. And as this home run was hit, he said something about delivering presents under the tree for the fans at Cleveland. Or it was like the ultimate Christmas present or something like that, he said. But it might have been the game of the year baseball-wise. I'm not even kidding. So the month of October goes to show you, such a fun month for sports.
It really is. I don't know if you pay attention to like college football, but now we're like in the 55 days of football, whether it's football on for every day. Now, granted, some of these are like MAC schools, like lower D1 schools, but hey, it's still football. I'm going to take that. But anyways, we're going to get into our next topic. Some trades kind of happened around the league, specifically two. One of them we kind of figured.
We talked about last week.
One of them we did talk about. I mean, I think we were both right about this trade. Davante Adams is sent over to the New York Jets. GM Hale Rogers is back at it again. For what people say. He actually flew out like the day before. Because if you didn't know, obviously it happened Tuesday. It was confirmed Tuesday. And obviously you don't watch Pat McAfee show. He does a segment. It's called Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. And he did that and Rodgers kind of made a face, and they were talking about Davante Adams trades. Like, is he already there? Yada, yada, yada. And next thing you know, out and behold comes Devontae Adams. But I think it's safe to say that we all saw this one coming.
Dude, this is the story about the boyfriend breaking up with the girlfriend, and then they just get back together, you know? They're like, yeah, we had a 2-year break, and you know what? After these 2 years, I think we've had enough time apart from one another. It's time to get back together. And this is what Rodgers and Adams are all about. There's a lot of media saying that this is like a really poor move on Devontae Adams' part, just because the age of Rodgers and how much time he has left to play, and then the situation that he's going to get thrown into. But nonetheless, as a Green Bay Packer fan, as a huge fan of Devontae Adams, not as big of a fan as some other Packer players, but I think this is going to be a second coming for Devontae. Obviously, right when he got traded over or sent over to the Raiders, he wanted to play with Derek Carr, and he got to play with Derek Carr for like a few weeks, and then all of a sudden there is that really terrible scuffle that went on in Vegas, and it wasn't just between Carr. Like, there's coaching issues. There's so many problems going on.
There was a lot.
Devontae was left in the dust, high to dry, and I think it's great to see that he's coming back with Aaron Rodgers. Changes their playoff odds a little bit, even though they just lost this past week.
They're still not going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're good enough. As long as you have Nathaniel Hackett there, I don't think they're going to win anything.
But I'd love to see Rodgers and Adams prove the people wrong. I would absolutely love to see it, because they get so much hate.
It's funny because I think it was Matt LaFleur said, they're called Green Bay East now because basically all the Packers players have gone over to the Jets now. Like Lazard, almost like their whole receiving crew is from the Packers.
Went there. Lazard went there. Adams is there.
Cobb, did you say Cobb?
Yep. Cobb was the first guy I mentioned. And these were all the guys that Rodgers, he was like leaning on through his time. But like he made such great connections with them. So like I totally understand. But it's just crazy how Saleh gets fired. And then you just see all this stuff go down. And it's like, wait a second. I wonder who's behind all this.
Yeah, and then obviously you know that Hassan Reddick has requested a trade out of, and got granted it. He got granted a trade out of New York. But kind of going back to the game that they played, let's talk about the other team, the Buffalo Bills.
They got another guy too.
They got Amari Cooper, which I think they're paying him $800,000, which seems like a lot for us, but in the NFL is nothing. Because the Browns are paying him all the other money and voiding his contract, so obviously Cleveland is going back to their 2016 days of not winning and absolutely sucking. But a very much needed trade, because I think Josh Allen, he doesn't have a wide receiver one, and Amari Cooper coming in is his wide receiver one moving forward.
No, I absolutely agree with you. 100% Amari Cooper would turn out to be the number one receiver. I think it's going to take him a little while to get used to the play calls and all of that. I have both Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper in my family fantasy league, but I'm not starting them this week just because there's not much time of a turnaround for them. But I'll say this, he's definitely going to step up and improve, and to your point, Cleveland was awful. They continued to play horribly. I don't even know if that's the best word I can use to describe Cleveland's play.
It's really not.
It's really bad. But it's a great sign to see Amari Cooper's going somewhere else. He's getting a little bit older. He's already been in the league for like 8 years. And he's been going all over the place. Like he started in... Did he start in Dallas or?
He started in Oakland.
Yeah, he started with Oakland, and then he went to Dallas. After Dallas, he went to Cleveland, didn't he? And now he's a Bill, so he's kind of getting tossed around a little bit. He's in his 8th or 9th year or something like that, so it'll be nice for Buffalo to have a veteran out there on the field.
Oh, 100%. Sorry, I'm just trying to crack my back.
I got one more big piece in the trade type of news. The Green Bay Packers get a kicker.
Oh yeah, they signed Brandon McManus after his allegations turned out they were not true or something along the lines.
Yep. He was not guilty. Well, I don't think there is any like outcome or anything, but he's innocent. So, but there's that thing that goes around where people say innocent until proven guilty, which it's the right move.
Until proven innocent now.
Yeah, that's what it feels like now. But this is huge for the Packers because coming off of another week where their kicker missed a field goal, I think it's almost a daily or weekly thing to happen with Green Bay. What's a Packer game without a missed field goal from their kicker? That's how I see it every single week. You got to feel for Braden Arvison a little bit with how young he is, and he's just learning a little bit. But here's the thing: as a kicker, all you do is you just kick the ball. So you gotta take advantage of that job just by making kicks. If you can't make kicks, I'm sorry, but you're out. So I'm looking forward to see what McManus can do with the Packers. Once again, he is getting a little bit older, but I think this is actually going to be the Packers' oldest player on the team now. Their oldest player originally was Preston Smith.
At 31, yeah. I think McManus is like 35 or 37.
I'm going to look it up. I think McManus is in his mid-30s, though. Brandon McManus he's 33. He is their oldest player. So, I'm excited to see what he does with Green Bay because I think if Green Bay can figure out their special teams, on top of how great their offense played this past week, granted they played Arizona, but still, the conditions were kind of rough out there, and they really were prepared. And even their defense, they have the most takeaways in the league. So I'm looking forward to seeing how their special teams does. I think they got lots of potential.
Amen to that. Oh, that's Bayport. Oh, I'm sorry. They're showing Operation Football.
What are you looking at
right now? So
you have football on?
Yeah, it's Operation like all the high school. They're going through the preview. I was like, oh, that's Bayport, and that's everything.
I was going to say, there's not a single high school game on yet. The high school games don't start until like 7.
Yeah, that's true.
Where I'll be in Appleton East for one of them. So,
and I will be out in the deer stand. But yeah.
Some deer and vlogging. Love to hear it.
Oh, yes. My daily deer vlogs. I actually have one. I still have to edit it on my phone. But now we go into our next segment, our surprise team or player of the week. I have mine. I don't know if you have it.
I'll let you go ahead. I think I have one in my mind, but...
So, my surprise is not a good surprise. It's a bad surprise. And that's the Dallas Cowboys.
I think I know where you're going.
It's the Dallas Cowboys. You lose 47-9, which is a new scoregami in the NFL, making, I think, like 1,014th unique score or something. But the Dallas Cowboys are my surprise team of the week, and it's not for a good reason. I mean, Penei Sewell caught a touchdown on a hook and ladder. You had Dan Skipper out there playing wide receiver. The Lions did not care that they started playing offensive linemen as wideouts. That's just how much they... Obviously, there's beef because last season that kind of happened. Obviously, if you guys don't know, Taylor Decker, Lions tackle, reported eligible, went up to the head ref and said, hey, I'm eligible. And the ref proceeded to say, no, he didn't report eligible. And you look at the cameras, the ref gives like a thumbs up. So there was heat during that game, and Dan Campbell did not hold back. Obviously, this is also the game that Aiden Hutchinson broke his fibula and tibula. And so that's unfortunate. But the Cowboys have still yet to win a game at home. I think their last 4 home games, I think they've let up 132 points, which is very, very sad. Very, very bad.
Bad.
But yeah, obviously it was also Jerry Jones' birthday. He did not get a very good birthday present. He got to see his own team get mauled to death by a bunch of lions. And then proceeded to try to fire a radio broadcaster because he was going to ask him the question, what's wrong with this team? And he was like, you know what, I can give this job to someone else right now if I wanted to. It's like I said, it's not a good surprise, but surprise team of the week goes to the Dallas Cowboys for how atrocious they were.
I'll tell you this, I only saw like 2 plays out of this game.
Same here.
And the worst part was the one of the 2 plays I saw was Aiden Hutchinson breaking his leg.
Oh no.
And I was just like, this is just not good. And dude, this guy, he was on pace to probably be the defensive player of the year. He had like 7 or 8 sacks or something like that. Yeah, 7.5. You were right between my numbers, 7 and 8. And he was looking so good, and then the fact that happened to him, and it was just a pain to see. It was gut-wrenching, and you just have to pray for him.
You could hear the snap on live television.
Incredible. Yeah, I remember watching just so many videos about it, but the score, it was already not even close. I'm looking at the TV before this play. I see the score, because this is when I tune into the game. I'm like,
why are you not playing your starters?
What the heck just happened with Dallas? Like, this team is legit god-awful when they play at Jerry World. And I don't know if you knew this, but Ben, he was in Dallas.
He was in Dallas. I didn't see it on his Instagram.
I sent him a text, and I was just like, dude, you gotta get the hell out of there.
He was like, Dallas is about to burn to the ground.
Trash shoot. The place was so bad, but yeah, it's a very valid pick for a surprise team. For me, I'm gonna go with a player. You know, I don't know if it's really a surprise. It's mainly just one play. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers with a Hail Mary again this week. I mean,
respectable.
The dude, he is so good at it. 4 Hail Marys now that he has completed, and you don't see him throw like that many Hail Marys in games. Like, the times that you've seen him throw a Hail Mary are essentially when it's a completion in the end zone for a touchdown. So looking back to the other night, the pass to Allen Lazard just bought all the time in the pocket against the Bills when they were down by 10 points. And Rodgers, he was able to just throw one up there right down to the middle of the end zone. And it was just a bunch of players all together that were just corralled in that end zone. And Allen Lazard, he was the one to jump up and get it at the right time, right moment. And he made the catch, and I don't know if you saw, I think it was Damar Hamlin, like, ended up swatting the ball out of his hand after it was completed.
Oh, yeah,
and
the
one
ref was incomplete.
Like, oh, it's incomplete, and the other guy's like, it's a touchdown. And I'm glad that they ruled it as a touchdown, and they didn't have to take forever, just, like, looking at the replays. But
yeah.
Talk about all of Rodgers' Hail Marys in his career. Miracle at Motown. I mean, come on, man.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That one might be one of the greatest Hail Marys of all time. It'd be fun to make a list about this, too. His second one, same year, Arizona divisional round. What a freaking game. He essentially completed 2 Hail Marys in this one.
And they're both to Jeff Janis.
And they were all to Jeff Janis.
Forgotten
Jeff
Packer player.
flipping Janis. And Jared Abbrederis, he was in that game. Like, you're talking about the Packers being low on receivers, and Rodgers, he just, on a
Well, they
4th and
still had
20 or
Jordy
something like
Nelson
that.
and Randall Cobb in their prime, and James Jones.
I think in that game, Randall Cobb got hurt. James Jones might have got hurt as well. I don't think Jordy, was Jordy in?
He was with the Packers.
I don't know if Jordy was there. I'm trying to remember. You could research that while I continue talking.
Because that was in 2015. Or, 2016, the year.
It was the year of Super Bowl 50. Anyways, yeah, the Hail Marys that he threw to Jeff Janis, and the one he threw into the end zone to him, drifting out to his left, throwing it across his body as he's about to get smoked by, I think it was Chandler Jones or something like that, and it was a dot to Jeff Janis with Patrick Peterson covering him. Like, you're talking about a heck of a play, and it was double coverage, and Janis made the catch. Then his third Hail Mary, go to the playoffs once again, the wild card game against the New York Giants in 2018, I believe, and once again,
sorry to cut you off. He was with Green Bay.
Okay,
no,
it was.
Hold on. No. Jordy Nelson didn't play because that was the year he tore his ACL in preseason against the Steelers.
Gotcha.
Because it jumped from
Thanks
14 to
fact
16. Check. Then 17 and then 18 he played with Oakland.
Yep. Thanks for the fact check. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. In 2011 he caught 15 touchdowns.
Dude, Jordy Nelson was him.
In 2014 he caught 13. In 2016 he caught 14.
Dude, I'm going to tell you this. Jordy Nelson, he is like one of the most underappreciated receivers of all time.
He's white. That's why.
I'm not even kidding. He was so good. He was so reliable for Rodgers. And he also made a lot of big plays happen, even like against like divisional rivals. But going to the third Hail Mary, the one to Randall Cobb against the Giants in the playoffs in, I believe, 2018, that was another dot people say could have been pass interference, but it was all the way to the back of the end zone. A very tough play to make. And Randall Cobb, he just adjusted to it perfectly. And that's all she wrote. Packers ended up winning that game. And then you go to this fourth one. Go 8 years later, 6 or 7 years later. I'm not sure what the timing is, but wow. Aaron Rodgers, you deserve it. And every time I watch him throw a ball, all I think about is watching the Rodgers Realm guy on TikTok, who's from Wisconsin, by the way. Dude, Realm and the Associates, their content's so good. But I'm giving my player of the week, even though he lost, Aaron Rodgers. And hey, you got Devontae Adams back with you. So make it count, because if you don't, I'm going to start hating you.
Owners.
I don't know. Garrett Wilson, he had a pretty good week last week. I think he's still going to get a pretty decent amount of catches. I think Breece Hall's production is going to go down, though. That's what I think is going to happen. But Aaron, if you're not making plays, I'm going to start hating you. Aaron, I really like you. Don't mess us up. Alrighty.
All right. Anyways, into our top 10. We're going to kind of fly through these. We got 20 minutes left. I'm just going to go right down our list. I'm still winning in the weekly pick'em by 2 picks this week. Well, now technically 3.
We had our greatest.
We did have
my greatest week of all time.
I think you tied, if not beat the record, and I had tied it.
I think the record was only 3 losses.
Week 17 in our first season, I went 13-2. And I think it looks like week 6 I went 12-3 for last year.
I went 12-2 in week 11 of last year.
Yep, that was the best one.
13-3.
13-3 a couple of weeks later.
I went 12-2 again, buddy.
Yeah, you went 12-2, and I went 11-3.
Dude, for some reason, I thought I had the Bills
No, you
against the
picked the
Jets,
Jets. You
and
picked
I
the
know
Jets.
after the game I saw what team I picked, and I was like, no, I thought I was gonna be 13-1, but it's all right.
No, so I'm gonna go straight through all my top tens right off the bat, so we can get this going. So at number
Well then,
10, I have the Chicago Bears. They're 4-2, believe it or not, or 5-2 now, I believe, or 4-2. Yeah, they're 4-2, and this is a very good football team. The reason they're still down here is because they haven't been playing good teams. Jacksonville, they lost to the Colts, and they lost to the Texans, which the only respectable loss is the Texans. But you beat the Colts. I mean, you lost to the Colts. You beat the Titans. You beat the Jaguars. You've beaten bottom 5 teams in the league. So it's not very impressive, but nonetheless, they're 4-2.
coming in at my number 10, I'm putting the Atlanta Falcons. Also a team that's at that 4-2 record, and they've won 3 straight now, and they've had a couple of pretty impressive wins, especially the one against Tampa Bay a couple of weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. And look at their only losses on the season. They lost to the Steelers in Week 1, a really good defense where they didn't allow where they scored only field goals in that game. The Steelers did, and then their other loss was to the Chiefs, which was on a Sunday Night Football game,
No,
which
BS.
we can all talk about that one where there is a call that was made where they possibly could have won. So this team has that potential of possibly being like right at that 5-1 mark. Because I'll give that loss to the Steelers as a guaranteed loss. But then also a couple of weeks ago against Tampa, all Tampa Bay had to do was get a first down right at that 2-minute warning mark, and they weren't able to do it. So if Tampa Bay got the first down, that's another loss. But Falcons, they looked really good. Kirk Cousins, this dude's starting to ball. I mean, he threw for 5 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, only 1 touchdown last week. But dude, he's not throwing any picks as of the last couple of weeks. So hats off to Captain Kirk. Falcons at the 10.
At 9, I had the Buffalo Bills, and it kind of does change a little bit because they do have a true number 1 wide receiver now. But they did get, I forgot who they played last week, but I know they didn't win.
The Bills?
Yeah, they're 4-2. They lost to the Ravens, and they lost to another team. But anyways, it kind of does shift a little bit because since Amari Cooper is with the Bills now, it's different. But before that, they're struggling. They're still a top 10 team. They're still one of the top dogs in the AFC. But right now is like that true wide receiver 1, as I have stated, is their biggest problem. And now they kind of fixed that. So Bills are my 9.
They lost to the Texans
That's
a couple
what it
weeks
was.
ago. All right, and it was on the walk-off field goal.
Yep.
I also got the Bills in at my number 9. They were able to hold on to that win against the Jets this past week, which I think was a really huge game for them. And coming up next for them, they'll be taking on the Titans. I think that should be a really easy game. And then they have the Seahawks following, and a couple of division rivals after that. But it was good to see Josh Allen. He actually looked good. I thought he was gonna have some symptoms of his possible concussion that he was checked for, but they checked him really, really quick, and he seemed to be all right. So Buffalo getting Amari Cooper, huge addition. This team is very much so looking like the favorites to win the AFC East at this point, which Josh Allen said easiest path to the playoffs and the Super Bowl is winning your division.
Mm-hmm.
They got it looking good for them at my number 9.
At my number 8, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll say they just manhandled the Saints. But they are going through some injuries, and obviously there's Chris Godwin's doing good, but Mike Evans is not doing good. So that kind of does scare me. But besides the injuries, I mean, they just put up 51 points against the Saints, who have dropped 5 in a row now. So I can't really say much. I mean, that division is kind of shaping up to be between Atlanta and the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers are one game below. And I realize that I actually don't have the Falcons on my top 10. But I have the Buccaneers, so. But anyways,
That's all right.
number 8 is the Bucs.
I mean, I don't really see the issue with that. I ended up dropping Tampa Bay just one spot because there was a lot of flipping going on from the last week. But I also have them at my number 8. This team, they might have the hardest 3 weeks coming up here. So they're going to be going up against Baltimore. That's going to be a huge game on Monday Night Football. Then they take on Atlanta the next week. And then they play the Chiefs at Kansas City.
Oh, gosh. That's a tough 3 games.
Actually, make it 4 games. Then they play against the 49ers, where Christian McCaffrey is going to be back. He's going to be back, he's going to be healthy, and it's going to be a problem. But I think this month of October is where we're really going to find out what this Tampa Bay team is all about. A lot of people are saying they're a fluke, and they're just getting lucky. They put up 51 points. Not many teams can put up 51 points on another team in an away game. Mm-hmm. So give credit to their defense. Bucky Irvin had a big day. Their other running back had a big day. They looked very solid, Tampa Bay at 8.
At number 7, I have the Washington Commanders. Because you want to know why? Because they did play well against the Ravens. They lost by a touchdown, but also the score didn't really demonstrated the actual game. I still have high hopes. I think right now they're the favorites to win the NFC East. Because just how Dallas has been doing, how Philly looks, how New York looks, it doesn't look good. This looks like the only solid team that's in there. Jaden Daniels still making his case for Rookie of the Year. So number 7, I have the Commanders.
Dude, we're just like copying each other at this point.
I
made my list before
we have telepathy.
Yes, telepathic powers going on here. Yeah, I got the Commanders at my number 7. After losing a tough one to Baltimore, it's obviously going to be a tough game to play there at Baltimore. And they looked really good. They kept up with the Ravens. I thought that Washington played the best that they could. And this kind of shows what their ceiling is of their team right now for this year. I would say maybe the next year or two that this team could very possibly be one of those Super Bowl contenders. But based on what we saw last week, I think this team just has hit their ceiling, which is a tough thing to say. And to be in a game like that, tough one to lose. But this Commanders team, they're still sitting on top of their division in the East. They got Carolina coming up, should be a win. Then they have the Bears, could be a really good one. And then the Giants for the first game of November. So Washington's schedule looking a little decent here for the next few weeks. My number 7.
So at number 6, I have the Green Bay Packers. Packers played very well against Arizona, but it was an Arizona team without Marvin Harrison Jr. for 3/4 of the game. Or even a half a game, I can't remember when he got hurt. But Packers kind of look like Jordan Love's getting back into his usual self. I did watch this game, unfortunately. Excuse me. But Packers look very solid. Their defense was looking good. Obviously, Brendnen, you were saying that they lead the league with takeaways, and I think it's like 17 because they had like 6 or 7 on Sunday. Arizona was just careless with the football, so... At number 6, I have the Packers.
I'm trying to think of... It is 17 takeaways. They had
11
those
picks
2
or
fumble
something.
recoveries towards the end. I don't think that... Did they pick off Kyler Murray?
I don't know. Maybe it was all
I think they
fumbles.
might have been all fumble recoveries. Anyways, look at this. I got Green Bay in at my number 6. Jordan Love. He's a gunslinger. He's got the remnants of both Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Did you see that throw that he threw off of his back foot to Romeo Doubs in the right-hand corner of the end zone?
I did see that. It was a very nice pass.
That was a pretty crazy pass, and everybody keeps asking the questions. Is the dude just getting lucky with his throws, or is it just skill? Another thing you have to take in consideration is the Packers receivers, these guys know what they're doing. Like, Romeo Doubs almost made it look like he was going to run a goal into the end zone to fake out the corner, and all he had to do was turn back and make the corner lose his footing to adjust and grab it. So, Jaden Reed, he's still going to be the number 1 receiver for this team. Green Bay is looking really good. Defense, 17 takeaways. Just got Brandon McManus. I think Green Bay is sitting in a pretty comfortable spot. Big game coming up, though, against the Texans, where the Packers will be wearing their white uniforms, the cheddar. White cheddar.
Yeah, that's a good one. But number 5, I have the Baltimore Ravens. So the Ravens, they played the Commanders, and they played very well. They came back with the win. But the Ravens are getting more and more impressive throughout the weeks. I mean, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are probably the dangerous running back, quarterback duo in the league. So at number 5, I didn't really watch this game, but from what I have seen and heard, that it was a Ravens-dominated game. So at number 5, I have the Ravens.
Look at me. I got the Ravens at my 5 spot as well. This is the team that I have.
This is literally the same list. Why don't... Okay, we'll just say screw our list. We'll just go over the Dot's top 10 because obviously this is what we have. Besides one team,
our
list
has to be the same going the rest of the way. It has to. If it's not, I might be throwing hands.
Because what else will?
What else is there to change?
I think you will. I think 4 we both have correct.
4, 3, 2, and 1 should all be the same. Anyways, with the Ravens. Everybody going into this year was like, well, Derrick Henry's old. He's not going to do this and that. Well, yeah, guess who's laughing now? Derrick Henry.
He's leading all running backs in like every position, in every stat.
I don't understand why the media is like, can't trust this guy. He's getting old and he's just not going to fit in with this team. What the heck are you talking about? This is why I picked Derrick Henry in my fantasy football league. I'm sitting 6-0. I'm undefeated.
In your family league, but I am actually winning in our league. But I think all my fantasy teams are made of glass this week.
I just want to say this. Suck on that, media. I know what I'm talking about, not you.
Yeah, you guys should listen to the Dots podcast more often.
Yeah, exactly. Follow the Dots podcast. Take it right here. Anyways, the Ravens' huge game coming up Monday. Once again, this is going to be our number 8 against number 5 matchup. Really good Monday night football matchup. There's actually a lot of really good matchups that are this week. But then the Ravens played against the Browns and then the Broncos. And then you got divisional games coming up with the Bengals and the Steelers. So this team looked like they were a lost cause when they were 0-2. All of a sudden, they got things back together. And guess what? Mark Andrews scored a touchdown last week. Crazy. But I think Baltimore, they deserve to be in this 5 spot after beating a good team in Washington.
At my number 4 was the team that won 42-21 is the Houston Texans. Besides the one game that they really got dominated, which was by the Vikings, they have been dominating. I mean, they dominated the Bills at home. That was a good game. They kind of let up like one big play to Keon Coleman. But they just ripped apart that Patriots offense. Even though Drake May did... Oh, God. I had like burp, but it wasn't coming up. But anyways, at number 4, I have the Houston Texans. They just been on a really good roll.
Dude, it sounded like you lost your life for a couple of seconds there or something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You're like, oh shoot.
All right. Let's see. Are we the same through 4?
Oh yeah, we continue the chain. The Texans are at my number 4. I don't really have too much to really say about them. It's going to be a big matchup again this week against Green Bay. Once again, the 4 against the 6 team. We have so many matchups with the top 10 teams going on right now from our own top 10s. And the one huge thing for Houston that they did lose, though, was Alshire. I think that could really affect them on defense. And as Jordan Love gains his mobility again, as we saw him against Arizona, it could lead to a problem. And same with Josh Jacobs on the ground running the football. I think Alshire could be a huge loss for the Texans, but I also have a ton of confidence in the Texans and their offense. They did this all without Nico Collins last week. They're going to be without Nico Collins for a while. Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, they're going to be key pieces going up against the Packers. And I think that it's going to be a good game. We'll just go over our predictions once we get into them, but Texans are my 4.
My number 3, I have the Chiefs. They were on bye.
What the?
The Chiefs are at 3.
What?
You're about to throw hands. You're about to come through my computer screen and just punch me. Anyways, what's your number 3? I think I know what.
Oh, you're not saying anything?
They're on the bye. I said the Chiefs are on bye, so they're at 3.
I got the Lions as my number 3. Going up against the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be fun to say that every single time. Jerry World, you're a piece of trash. You don't deserve to be in existence. I'm talking about the stadium, not the person. Stay calm, people. And Cowboys fans, I'm laughing at you. This is hilarious. I'm so glad you guys are crying about your team, thinking it's your year every single time. And then you just get absolutely humbled on by a team that's running plays to their offensive linemen. Just hot. It's so funny. But giving credit here to the Lions, they played solid. I love the play schemes that they go after. They're very creative. Jared Goff, he's getting better, which is crazy because a couple of weeks ago he had a day where he didn't throw a single incompletion in the game.
18 for 18.
So the fact that I'm saying that he's getting better is crazy. David Montgomery, this dude's an absolute beast carrying the football. That first touchdown that he scored on the Dallas Cowboys defense was just great to see. And I only saw it from the highlights, but the Lions looked really good. Aiden Hutchinson is a huge loss, though, for this team. And nobody's going to replace him. Nobody can replace him to be just as good as he was. So there's going to be a little bit of a downgrade on the Lions defense. But they're in at my number 3. Jumping a couple of spots here on this, or one spot on the list, flipping with the Texans.
And my number 2, I have the Vikings. They're on bye.
I don't understand you.
What do you mean?
Dude.
See, we got number 2 right.
I don't understand. Dude, the Vikings and the Chiefs are undefeated.
Okay, and?
Anyways.
I believe...
I'm not even going to get started with you because it's already 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Vikings at my number 2. Who do they even play this week?
What? I'm sorry.
Who do they play this week?
The Vikings play the number 1 Lions. which they're my number one, because when you go into Jerry's World, put up 47 points, and you start screwing around, and you start putting lineman at wide receiver, I think you deserve to be number one for such a BTA performance.
I can't believe you right now. I seriously can't.
I mean, with how they played
against
against
every team that the Cowboys have played at Jerry World, they've got absolutely crapped on. Ever since Green Bay.
Hey, they just look like the best team in football. That's all I'm saying.
Are you saying that the Cowboys are good?
I mean,
Because they sure as heck are not.
They're decent whenever they play on the road.
They're not good.
Whenever they play on the road.
God, awful.
Okay, yeah. Kansas City still reigns supreme. We get that.
Kansas City is
Patrick
number one.
Mahomes, refs are.
Kansas City is my number one just because they're undefeated, just like the Vikings are undefeated. But the Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champions. They're going to stay in the number one spot until they lose. I've said this so many times. I don't need to really say anything else except that I hope that they lose to the 49ers.
I do too. I got to check my hunting app real quick. But anyways, those are our top 10s, and Brendnen is a little bit crabbier than usual because...
Dude, it's because your list is ridiculous putting the Lions at your one.
Not. It's very reasonable.
Oh my god. Yeah, you can put the Lions at the one once they beat the Vikings.
Seriously?
But
So stupid.
we'll let the outcome of that game decide that factor.
Alright, yeah. Anyways, let's go to the
I wanted to
pick'ems.
say one more thing. Look at our lists, how basically everything's the same. And all the matchups in this week, how many top 10 matchups we're going to have. There's like 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be crazy.
Oh, hold on. Excuse me.
Gee, this dude is losing lives right now.
Anyways, we're going to go quickly through our weekly pick'ems. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, which was yesterday, I picked the Broncos, and Brendnen unfortunately picked the Saints. Then we go back to... I don't know what you saw in the Saints, but I'm just
I didn't see anything. I just made a pick. I didn't know anything going into the game.
Neither did I. I was like, I'm going to pick the Broncos. Next, we go over the pond to London, where the Patriots are taking on the Jaguars, and I'm taking the Patriots.
I'm also taking the Patriots. Jaguars are a lost cause right now.
Yeah. Then we come back over the pond to Minneapolis, where the Lions take on the Vikings, and I am taking the Lions. This is my 1-2 matchup.
The fact that you're taking the Lions and you're a Vikings fan just proves you're...
Listen, I'm a realist.
No.
Do I still want the Vikings to win? Of course I do. I won't be mad dropping one game. But listen, the Lions are better right now.
I'll be fair with you about this.
I'm also, like I said earlier, the Vikings are dealing with some injuries.
Once again, I'm going to say this. I'll be fair with you about this. You did say the Vikings would only win 5 games this year. How many games have they won this year?
They've won 5, so if they don't win 6, I get $500 on the under.
Actually?
No, I'm messing with you.
Dude, I was going to say, you're screwed. Because I was going to ask how much you would have paid on that.
Oh my gosh. I would probably put my whole...
Anyways, I got the Vikings winning. That's always a tough environment to play in, and I think the Lions are going to get rattled.
Yeah. Next, we got the Titans at Bills. Web-slinging Will Levis is not going to do anything against the Buffalo Bills. I'm taking the Bills.
I'm looking forward to the meme of the week for Will. I'm picking the Bills as well.
Dolphins at the Colts. Dolphins are kind of a lost cause as well. Give me the Colts because Joe Flacco is somehow the best backup quarterback in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. And Anthony Richardson, he's coming back against the Dolphins, which might give the Dolphins a little bit more of a chance, in my opinion. But I'm taking the Colts. I'd pick up the Colts defense on fantasy football if I were you folks.
Yeah. Next, we got Seattle at Atlanta. What was it? You talk your trap over. You shut your trap is what Kirk Cousins said. Like the most Atlanta thing ever. Kirk Cousins, who's like the whitest guy in the league, says, "I'm gonna take Atlanta."
I have no idea what Kirk Cousins said. So all of that you were saying, I thought you were just like on something, just making stuff up. But I'm taking the Falcons as well.
Texans at Packers. I'm going to take the Packers. It's going to be a good game. I won't be surprised if the Texans do one, but since it's in Lambeau, I believe that the Packers will pull through.
Lambeau Field's gonna be loud for this one. I'm taking the Packers as well over the Texans.
Bengals at the Browns. Deshaun Watson is your quarterback. You're going to lose games. Give me the Bengals.
Give me the Bengals as well. Although Joe Burrow has not won a game against the Browns in his career at Cleveland.
That is very true.
So I'm still picking the Bengals though, because I think streaks come to an end.
Eagles at Giants. Revenge game for Saquon Barkley. He's going to run all over that defense. Give me the Eagles.
What a homecoming it's going to be for Saquon. Well, I guess even though he's originally from Pennsylvania, but you know the point that I'm saying. I'm taking the Eagles as well. I just got news that Dallas Goedert will not be playing in this game as he's still dealing with that injury.
Yeah, I started him like 2 weeks ago or last week in fantasy. In the first 2 plays, I get a notification Dallas Goedert is out for the game. I'm like, well, that's great. I'm glad that all my fantasy teams are made of freaking glass. Anyways, the Raiders at the Rams. The first game without Devontae Adams, and they're still gonna lose. So give me the Los Angeles Rams.
They're still gonna lose the way you said it.
They're still gonna lose.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams over the Raiders here. Isn't Aiden O'Connell starting now?
I think so, yeah.
Fun fact, folks, Aiden O'Connell is the last quarterback to defeat Patrick Mahomes.
That's embarrassing.
And that just left Matt in awe.
That's embarrassing. That was like one of those Christmas games.
That was Christmas. That was Christmas Day. Yep.
Anyways, next is the Panthers and the Commanders. A Red Rocket, Andy Dalton himself, will not get the job done. Give me the Commanders.
At this point, I'd just say combine the Jaguars and the Panthers, call them those Southern Wildcats. Give me the Commanders.
Next, we got the Chiefs at the 49ers. The Chiefs are undefeated. Travis Kelce's girlfriend will not be there, so hopefully we actually get to see some football instead of a concert. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah. My fiance's going to the concert that's down in Miami on that Sunday.
Weird of you to say that now. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad and single and depressed. I'm so sad.
You did not have to say anything, and now you bring it up.
Don't worry, it's not like cope with myself.
I was trying to brighten up the mood, and then there's you.
I have depression. Shut up. Anyways, continue.
Based on your prediction of your own team that you're a fan of, you might get more depression, which I still don't understand.
Don't worry.
I still don't understand why you have the Lions at your number one. Anyways, I'm taking the 49ers because, hey, streaks are meant to be broken, right? It's just one of those picks that's out there, and also screw the Chiefs just about almost as much as the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas. Anyways, next game we have the Jets at the Steelers. Russell Wilson is starting. Russell Wilson should not be starting, so give me the Jets with newly acquired Devontae Adams.
Oh, they actually announced that he's starting?
Yeah, he's starting.
Oh.
He's playing. So that hamstring that he's had for like the past 2 weeks, I don't think was real.
No, you said Russell Wilson.
Oh yeah, Russell Wilson's starting.
Yeah, I knew Devontae Adams was going to be starting.
Yeah,
Russell. That I could have said before he was even off that injured list. But I'm taking the Jets as well. Even though with Russell Wilson starting, I'm taking the Jets.
Put in Fields.
Taking the Jets.
Anyways, Ravens at the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Ravens. I think this will be a very good game. It is down Tampa, but I am going to take the Ravens.
I think it's a very solid pick. I'm taking the Ravens as well. I think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game, and I pray that Derrick Henry and
Lamar.
Chris Godwin just pop off.
I need Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield to pop off. I have that.
Yeah,
I have that.
I wouldn't mind them popping off. I just hope it's
I don't
a very
know
high
what
scoring
you call
game.
it. I don't know what you call it when you have like the wide receiver and quarterback duo in fantasy.
Wide receiver quarterback duo.
Like you have like
That's
the
what I
same
call it.
receiver and the same quarterback on the same
Yeah,
team.
I know what you're talking about.
There's
a lot
like
of
there's
people
like a
do
term
that.
for it now. I don't know what it is, but that's how I am right now. I have that with the Lions with Amon-Ra and Jared Goff, and then Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans. But anyways,
A lot of people tend to do that now. Yeah.
to our last game, we have the Chargers at the Cardinals, which I think is being streamed on ESPN Plus or some BS like that. Give me the Chargers. No one's gonna watch this game.
Yeah, you want to know why it's being streamed on something else? Because there's a TV show that's gonna be on at the same time as a football game.
Ugh.
Guess what TV show it is? Girls love this show, by the way.
Love Island.
Not quite.
Oh, Bachelor. Oh, Dancing with the Stars.
There you go. Yeah. All we need to do is the little tango
Chop, chop,
going
real
on.
smooth.
Speaking of football players in that, Danny Amendola's in that show.
He is.
Anyways, I'm gonna take the Chargers over the Cardinals. I think they're going without Marvin Harrison Jr. again this week, so it's gonna be a tough day for Kyler Murray and his offense. But who knows? Maybe they'll pull something off. But I'm taking the Chargers.
And that's it. That's our show. That is our show.
And once again, we go past our time limit.
Well, an hour and two, that's fine. But it's definitely I think this might be our shortest episode this year. But anyways, guys, I'm going to be checking out from the away sideline, Matt Crowley, a.k.a. your boy, Matty Icy. And I got to go hunting. I got to shoot a nice big buck.
And here on the home sideline, it's your boy, Brett Segoff, 99 Brett's Brendnen, Brendnen Brett's off here in Stevens Point. Signing off. I got a football game to cover, so I got to get myself ready for work because this is not a full-time job, unfortunately, but maybe one day it will be. It's a dream for the both of us. It's the Dots Podcast here on YouTube. Link down in the description of all of our other socials and whatnot. But hey, guys, enjoy week 7 of the NFL season. It's going to be a good one. Peace.